Okay guys, I created a new colony just to show you some tips and tricks. I did not customize anybody. You can randomize your people, or you can get a mod called Prepare Carefully that allows you to set up things, and I did not do any of that. I literally just started with whoever they gave me. This is the beginning screen, and we're in the tribal settings. Let me pause it. What tribal settings means is that when I go here to research, it means that I cannot do battery first. In one of my videos, I talked about how battery should be the first thing. Obviously, I'd have to do electricity first, okay? Because I'm in the tribal settings. And electricity is 3,200 research points, and that's going to take a while. So, we are in tribal settings. One of the first things I do is I scroll out as far as I can. I find out where the tree is. And here it is. It's on the map. Okay? Click it. And you can see this is the build zone where it says do not build around. Now, what I like to do, and this is just me, is I go to Architect, Orders, and this is where you can plan stuff out. And as long as you still have the tree selected, you can go over here and you can make these little things here if you take your time with it. Okay, so in other words, if I wanted to build a little city here and I wanted to build in this corner and build up, let's say I plan from here on over, okay? Then when I've not selected a tree, I can't see the build order, but now with the plan I can tell, don't build beyond this point, in other words, okay? Because if I have a building on this side, it affects this tree. See that red mark? The red circle? So basically when you're meditating over here, for every building that it detects, it slows that down. So this is just me. So let's say I wanted to build in this corner. It's close to the tree. And I'm like, okay. So I could plan that out. I can also go over here to these icons, and you see this one. It looks like a kind of like the world with a shovel coming down on it, is what I say. It's toggle fertility. If I check that, the whole map lights up. So this is super fertile ground in the green. You see all this green here, even around this a little bit. Now this tells me that if I wanted to plant crops, then the crops, if I mouse over it at the screen, it'll say what your mouse is pointing at. See where it says rich soil, and it says fertilizer 140%. That tells me what I'm looking at on the ground. I'm gonna move my mouse now. You see how it's changing? So let's go over here where it's just 100% fertility, okay? Which means crops will grow at 100% rate here, but if I go back over to the fertile ground, it's 140. That just basically means it's rich soil and the plants will grow fast. Now, keep in mind, I've paused this. This is at the very beginning. This is just stuff that you can do at the beginning before setting up. So what I've already done is I've determined where some rich soil is, and I've also determined where the tree is. We gotta toggle off this thingy again to get back to the screen. Don't ever leave that on, okay? If you leave one of them on, the mountain one, that's a good one to leave on. Everywhere in the red or yellow means that I cannot put a heavy foundation. What that means, there's not too much on this map. This is actually a really good map to build on. What this means is that I cannot make the brick structures on this red. Okay, if I try to build a brick structure on the red, it will not allow me. If it's yellow, you can build a wood wall on it, but you cannot build a brick wall. Later, you're going to learn bricks. And bricks is the next thing we're going to talk about in this video. Because the first thing you should be setting up is where you're going to build your base. Pause it, look around the map like what I'm doing. And let's just say I want to go ahead and build over here, okay? I'm never going to build on this side. So I want to build my base needs to go up this way. Okay? And I can't build right there around the water until I research something. We go to research, and it's for the moisture thing. Oh wait, I think I passed it up. Where's it at? Hydroponics on the door. Where's the moisture thingy? So there it is, moisture pump. So the moisture pump, if I research that, it looks like this little thing here. You lay it down, it takes forever. It takes like 60 days usually. It will soak up all the water, and it will slowly turn a lot of the red into yellow and the yellow into a buildable area. So if I put a moisture pump here later and then maybe over here, then eventually maybe I could put down some stone there because it would soak up a lot of water. It will not soak up deep water. For deep water, there's a mod for a special moisture pump, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So, okay, so anyways, let's unpause. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to determine where do I want to build. Well, let me tell you a little secret. If you open up the architect and you go back to orders and you go back to plan, you see how there's this little line that appears? This tells you cannot build outside of this. I could not build over here, but I can build here. So what I will do is I will fill in a spot here and here. I could build bricks here, but not on the other side of that line. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's say the first thing you usually want to build is a storage. I'm gonna make mine pretty big. Okay. I've planned out the storage. Again, to plan this out, you just go to architect. You go to orders. And you click plan. To remove a plan, you click remove plan. Orders is really important because you can learn to do all kinds of stuff. When you kill a lot of enemies, the allow is really good. We'll get to that later in another video, but I'm just showing you how I set up early. So now that I've planned out where I want my storage, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now go to architect. I'm going to click architect, go to zone, and we're going to do storage pile. Now, one of the things that I'm teaching people to do, and I want to go inside my line that I laid. I don't want to go on it because the line is going to be later bricks, okay? In other words, that's going to be a wall later. But one of the first things that I've been teaching is in your stockpile zone, you want to go to the storage, okay? When you select your zone, you go to storage, and we got to turn off, we got to find apparel, and we got to turn off the ability to drop tainted things in there. Now, apparel is up here. All right. Everything is selected. And I don't want everything selected. Tainted apparel, I want to turn that off. What this means is that I will never store tainted clothing in there. And now what I want to do is I want to press 3 to speed up time. Your time is right over here. It's paused, and now it's sped up. This means that everybody's going to drag stuff over here, and here they come. So they're going to start coming over here, and they're going to drop stuff off. But, okay, I got some animals there, huh? All right, so I want to go back up to where did my people start off at? Okay, I got to find my people. Hold on. They started somewhere around here with all this junk. Okay. They started off with all kinds of stuff being dropped off. Remember how I said orders was really good to learn when you kill people? When you kill people or stuff drops, it'll usually have an X. This means that it's not allowed. What I want to do is I want to go to architect, orders, and allow. You got to remember this, people. This comes in handy. Now I make a giant square, let go, and now everything is now selected and they will carry it. All right, so now when I unpause it, you're going to see them running up here and they're going to grab stuff. Let me zoom out a little bit. Here they come. They're grabbing stuff. Well, they're eating first, and then what they're going to do is they're going to run it all the way down here to my zone pile. Okay, this is one of the first things you want to do besides scouting the map. So we scouted the map. I planned where my storage room is going to go. I got to get walls up or else everything in storage will deteriorate. Normally, I would tell people, if they're early game, to go ahead and build the stone production. But because this is tribal settings, guess what we don't have? We don't have stone cutting. So this becomes the first thing that I absolutely want to research. I'm going to go ahead and click it. Now I'm going to walk you through how I figure out who my researcher is. Okay, one of these people, I believe it was Panther. And we got Panther selected. We go to bio. Yeah, it's Panther. See how he has 1 on intellectual? Now he's the only person. Let me go through everybody else's stuff. Yeah, okay, so nobody else has intellectual. And if you don't know, you can skim through your people selected by pressing the period button or the comma button on your keyboard. So if I just keep hitting this, see how it cycles through them? If I had the bio opened up, this is what it looks like. This comes in handy for checking bios, but it also comes in handy to double check if they are armed. Nobody's armed right now, okay? So remember, the period and the comma helps you select. So what I want to do for Panther, Panther, I want to go up here where it says rename colonist. He's got 1 on the intellectual. And I want to go ahead and write in here researcher. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. I got caps locks on too. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so researcher. And then, now what this does is this labels him, and it'll not only put it in here when you're looking at his bio, but it'll also put it in there when you're looking at, when you click work and you hover over them, it'll say what you selected in there, researcher. This is a great way. Later on, at the beginning of the game, you always want to have all 5 of these filled out. This person cannot do doctoring, so well. Later on, Panther, I will turn off all of this stuff, and I will only have research and the first 5 selected for Panther. All of these will be shut off, but it's early game. I need him to help me out with all this other stuff that he can do. What this does is this sets him up as a researcher, and I'm going to need a researcher pretty fast. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this off with one more point. I already know where my wall is going to be from my storage unit, okay, which will be here. So when I am ready, I already have some wood. I have 200 wood. You can go to architect orders, whoops, and you want to find the one for chopped wood, and watch this. It will select every mature tree that is able to get wood, but it passes up trees that are too small, like this one. It didn't select it because it's only 22% grown, okay? Look at my little guys go. Well, they just fell asleep. Okay, so when they wake up, they're going to chop all this wood, and then they're going to deliver the wood down here, and then I can build my wall. When you build, make sure you have 2 doors. It's obvious that I'm going to be building a little bit this way, not by much, and up here. So I want a door on top and a door on bottom. My next point, and then I'm going to go ahead and quit this, is a work room, an actual room for production. This is where you're building your crafting stations. I always want it right next to the main storage, because if it make, well, wait a minute here. Okay, so let's say for the whole game, I'm going to build a storage unit down on the bottom. This is my storage, but up here is going to be all my crafting stations. I don't want my people having to go 200 feet in order to go get all the supplies that they need to craft. So I want the crafting room right beside the storage unit room, okay? So while they're doing all this, I'm already planning out where I'm going to put my crafting stations. Now, one thing I do, you don't have to do this. You can make it 1 room. I like to do 2. I go 2 spaces over from a wall. 1, 2, and I make sure that I have a 2-space room hallway. Why do I have a 2-space room hallway? Because later this is going to be a main hallway, traffic and stuff, and I might want to put a lamp in here or even a turret. Okay, when I get to mid game and late game, I sometimes put turrets in the hallway. If it's only 1-space hallway, it looks silly to me and it looks a little junked up. That's just my personal preference. Now, this other line over here tells me I can't build on this side because of the tree. Remember how we did that? So I could plan out a kitchen. Let's say we'll plan out a kitchen here. Okay, now each production unit, the kitchen stove is 3 squares long, so there's 6. So let's go to a 7th to build. This means I have 6 spaces between wall and wall, so I could put 2 stoves there. You understand? So let's go and let's make this a big kitchen. So because I'd be able to fit 3 here and then I'd be able to fit another one there, that means that I don't have space to fit a stove going sideways in here, but I could start another stove 3 here, right? Okay, so now we got, that should be, yeah, okay, so now we got another 6. That means that 2 more stoves could be there. That'd be 4 stoves. We'll make an extra wall here and I'll bring it back. This would be my kitchen here. I will put the door here. I personally do not mark where I want my door. In other words, all of this is going to be a wall, and then there's going to be a door here, and we can knock out, it can't be that one, but it has to be this one for the door. So I could put my stoves here, 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 and then even some in between. Now, the room right beside my kitchen, we'll go to zone. Go to zone. And I like to use dumping for this, okay? Use the dumping thingy. And on the outside of the wall, I'm just going to make a little spot. I'm going to select it. I'm going to rename. Okay, watch this. We're going to put freezer area. Now, the reason that I use the dumping instead of the regular storage is because not very many things are selected. So we go to storage. You want to turn off chunks. I don't want any chunks and rocks in there. And under corpses, the only thing that I want is animals. Okay? So now I'm going to turn it on critical. Now, critical priority, and the only thing that's going up here is animals. But one more thing. Let's turn off rotten. This means I will only put fresh animal corpses there. So basically, if I go hunt right now, they will drop them off there, and then they will end up putting the dead animals here, and then my kitchen will be here. Okay? I hope you learned something.